بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. I apologize, I did get cut off last time. So alhamdulillah, first I want to share some good news with everyone who's listening on the call, and that is, alhamdulillah, we've gotten over $35,000 thus far. Alhamdulillah, great news, and we're still, counting the donations coming from across the world. So inshallah ta'ala, we're more than that. But I want to thank everyone for your generosity, and I want to encourage everyone who has not yet given to give something. And those who have given, just as Sheikh Muhammad just mentioned, you can give if you have something else, you can give some more, you can sacrifice. You're seeking the ajr of Allah a little more, pushing yourself this Ramadan to go a little above and beyond what you can normally do, then I encourage you to do that as well. I know most of the AlMaghrib students are students. We live our lives, with not much in terms of finances. But in situations like this, and in the ni'mah that we live in, if we take a step back and we look at how we live our lives, I think we'll all find that we can sacrifice something. The program has gone on for 2 hours plus, and I don't want to extend it too much further. I do want to share a message to the people of East Africa, to the people of Somalia, to the people of Ethiopia, to the people of Kenya, and to those who are suffering. And that is that I say first and foremost, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sufficient for you. Allah ta'ala is there for you, and Allah ta'ala will take care of you, O people of East Africa. Your children are dying of hunger. Your children are dying of thirst. Your children are dying from lack of basic medical care. SubhanAllah, your children are dying from just lacking even, they haven't eaten meals in days. While our garbages here in the West are full of food. While the flies here, wallahi, when I came back from Egypt some years ago and I saw a fly in the U.S. for the first time coming back from Egypt, I was shocked. The size of the flies here compared to the size of the flies in Egypt, let alone in a land of famine. Our flies, the dogs, the cockroaches, their fats from the food in the garbage that we find in our countries. So to the people of East Africa, I apologize to you. I apologize to you because our garbages are full of food while your children are dying of food. To the people of East Africa, I say, your women are searching for clothing. There's reports that women have sold their hijabs, even sold their clothes, just to get transportation somewhere. They don't know where, somewhere, to leave where they are to get some sort of hope. While in a time when our closets are full of clothing, while people are running away from the hijab even, while men are indulging in their desires and spending their wealth away. To the people of East Africa, I apologize to you that we spend thousands of dollars on useless things. If you think about where the money goes, and how many times we eat out, and how much time we spend money on things that we don't need. Maybe we'll go above and beyond and we'll get a fancier car or a bigger house, things that we don't need. We spend thousands and thousands of dollars indulging in our desires. While you are people of East Africa can save your life. I apologize to the people of East Africa. Your children are dying while we are sitting here playing with our wealth. I apologize to the people of East Africa. Perhaps if you were somewhere else, maybe if you weren't in Somalia, maybe if you were in America, the world would have responded with showering food and water upon you. But because you're in the land that you're in, maybe because of the faith that you have and you say, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, the response is slow. The response is minimal. I apologize to you, the people of East Africa. Perhaps if you were living in a time, like the time of Umar al-Khattab, Amir al-Mu'mineen, when he would forbid his own children from eating fruit because the ummah was suffering from famine and drought. When the children of the ummah could not eat, he would forbid his own children eating. When the ummah could not have meat, he forbade himself from having meat. When it said that his face, the color of his skin changed because of the concern he had for the ummah, I apologize to you, people of East Africa. If you lived in a time like that, perhaps there would have been people who would have answered your calls. Perhaps there would have been people who would have felt your pains. Perhaps there would have been people who would give what they can and do what they can and sacrifice what they could to help you and be there for you. To the people of East Africa, to the mothers of East Africa, to the fathers of East Africa, I apologize to you. I apologize to you because our mothers and our fathers have not felt the agony that you feel. Have not felt the agony that you feel when you watch your child starve in front of your eyes. Our mothers have not been pushed As has been reported, sisters, mothers have literally soaked their hijabs in their mouths with their saliva and have put that hijab, the cloth, that cotton into the mouth of their child to give them something to drink. Our mothers have not been pushed to that extent. We have not faced the poverty that they've faced. So I apologize to you for that. Stop feeling what you feel. I apologize to the fathers who have traveled miles and miles in search of something to come back to their families with when we can just go down the street and get whatever we need. When our fridges are full of food and full of drink and full of and our iftar parties, we waste food and we throw away food. When your fathers over there are searching miles and miles, perhaps some of them go and they don't come back and they die on the way from the difficulties of the travel in the sun and the desert. I apologize to you. But I also tell you, O people of East Africa, that there are amongst us in the Ummah today those who have heard your cries, those who have heard the cries of their mothers of not having anything to feed their children. I say to the people of East Africa that there are those who feel the pain that you feel. I tell you, O people of East Africa, there are those who cry with you, those whose tears flow with your tears, those whose hearts are torn just like your hearts are torn, those who live the ayah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَيُؤْثِرُونَ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ وَلَوْ كَانَ بِهِمْ خَصَاصَةٌ. Those who give preference over their own selves, give preference to others over their own selves, even if they are in need. I tell you, O people of East Africa, amongst the Ummah today, there are those who live the ayah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَيُطْعِمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَىٰ حُبِّهِ مِسْكِينًا وَيَتِيمًا إنما نطعمكم لوجه الله لا نريد منكم جزاء ولا شكورا. There are those who in this ummah live the ayah of Allah, that we feed you food out of our love for Allah, even despite our love for it. Those who are poor, those who are the orphans, the prisoners. Why? Because they seek a reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I tell you, O people of East Africa, that amongst the ummah today are those who are hopeful for a trade with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They know that if they do business with Allah, Allah will do business with them and will never let them go. They live the ayah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَتْلُونَ كِتَابَ اللَّهِ وَأَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَأَنفَقُوا مِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ سِرًّا وَعَلَانِيَةً يَرْجُونَ تِجَارَةً لَن تَبُورَ لِيُوَفِّيَهُمْ أُجُورَهُمْ ويزيدهم من فضله إنه غفور شكور. There are those amongst us who live the ayah, that there are men, there are people, there are women who recite the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and who perform salah and they spend in charity of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them secretly and openly, and they hope يرجون تجارة لن تبور, they hope from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a trade that will never perish. And what will be better than Jannah, brothers and sisters, when you will come on the day there is no shade but the shade of Allah, and you will be one amongst those who gave from his right hand what his left hand didn't know. No one knows. You're sitting in front of your computer, no one sees you, but you donate and you press the donate button, you give now for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you will be under the shade. You hope from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Jannah, under which are palaces and rivers. You hope for Jannah so you can be with the likes of the Prophet ﷺ and the likes of Muhammad, Ibrahim and Musa and Isa and Abu Bakr and Amr and Asiya and Maryam and Fatima and these great people who lived on this earth. We hope to see the face of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Jannah. We give hoping for the reward of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah says about them, they are those who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will pay them their wages in full. He will give them Jannah. And He'll give them even more out of His grace. Verily Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is most forgiving, and He is ready to appreciate those who do good. So my brothers and sisters in East Africa, my mothers and fathers, our children, I tell you that despite the reality that you're seeing on the ground, I tell you that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed in the ummah khair, and there will be khair until the day of judgment, and there will be people who will answer your call. There will be people who have heard your cries, and who will do what they can. Brothers and sisters who are listening, I call on every one of you to be amongst the latter, not amongst the former. Those who give, those who make sacrifices, those who yarjuna tijaratan lan tabur, those who seek from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a trade that will never perish, that you will be given Jannah inshallah ta'ala. And I remind everyone, For $1,500, you can give medical treatment. You can give Islamic Relief's medical camp there, and I say camp quote unquote because literally it's a shed that if a strong wind were to blow, it would push it over. But we're doing what we can, and $1,500 can give us a package of medical care that can take care of 80 people for a whole month, that can treat 80 children for a whole month for just $1,500. I tell you, for $210, if that's too much for you, $210, you can give water to 40 people. 40 plus people, you can give water for a month. You brothers and sisters, you know the prostitute from Bani Israel, she gave water to a thirsty dog. She gave water to a thirsty dog, a prostitute. Imagine how many sins she has given and how many men she has misled. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgave her sins and gave her Jannah because she gave water to a dog. We have 40 of our children who we can give water for just $200 for a whole month. Press the donate now button. Give $210. Feed, give water to 40 children, to 40 women, to 40 men, to 40 elders who you can give them a chance at life again. And if that's too much for you, fine, $75. You can feed a family of 8. You can feed a family of 8 for a whole month. $75. That's how much we pay for like 3-4 meals here nowadays. Brothers and sisters, if you can give 75, fine. فَاتَّقُوا النَّارَ وَلَوْ بِشِقِّ تَمْرَةٍ. The Prophet said, save yourself from hellfire, even if it's with half of a date. If you have $1, if you have $2, if you have $5, wallahi, that can save a life. Especially with the acute nature of what they're going through. A sip of water, a basic medical care can save the life of a child. Brothers and sisters, in conclusion, it's been 2.5 hours now, and I will not go longer. So I will call on you. Please give what you can. Alhamdulillah, we have over 55,000. I don't have an update. Inshallah ta'ala, we'll get one. Maybe we can post in the forums AlMaghrib.org, or hopefully before the program's over, you can get an update from HQ. Right now, alhamdulillah, actually, we are close to 70,000. Allahu Akbar. May Allah reward all of you who have given. May Allah give you water from the hand of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, from al-Hawd al-Kawthar, a drink after which you will never feel thirsty again. May Allah give you from the rivers of Jannah. May Allah give you companionship with the prophets and the messengers and the shuhada and the salihin. وَحَسُنَ أُولَٰئِكَ رَفِيقًا. May Allah give you the blessing of seeing His face, subhanahu, whenever you want in Jannah. May Allah give you, those of you who have given and those of you who have the intention to give and may not be able to give. May Allah give you the best of this world and the best of the hereafter and continue to shower His blessings upon you. May Allah ease the suffering of those in East Africa and in Syria and in Libya and in Egypt and in Tunisia and in Yemen and in all the Muslim countries around the world. May Allah ease their suffering. May Allah answer their calls. We ask Allah subhanahu to shower His blessings upon them and to preserve them and to protect them and to rain upon them water from the sky and to feed them. إِنَّهُ وَلِيُّ ذَلِكَ وَقَادِرُ عَلَيْهِ. And in conclusion, brothers and sisters, we have alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, we had the shuyukh who all shared with us, their thoughts and their words of inspiration, and we thank them for that, and we make dua for them. And we have with us Buna Muhammad, akhi, I love you for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I watch a lot of your activities on YouTube, and I really enjoy it. And inshallah, can give us something, inshallah, to close, something from your heart, something that comes from your heart to the people of East Africa, to the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what we can do, whatever you know, wallahi, that would be great. We haven't heard from you yet, except just you've been managing the show, but if you can give us something to conclude, that would be great. I ask you on behalf of myself and on behalf of the listeners, inshallah ta'ala, give us something, inshallah ta'ala. Jazakumullah khairan, everyone. Wassalamu alaikum.